Hey everyone, as much as I really enjoy working with my current executives and my past executives, I would be lying to you if I told you that every position was like a bed of roses, but sometimes more like how you adjust to the prickling thorns. So in other words, my executives have these annoying traits about them and sometimes they frustrate me, but I'm sure you can probably relate to some of these. So let me run down the 10 annoying habits and in no particular order of my current and past executives. One of the things that used to bug me quite a bit was when I supported an executive that lived on the East Coast and I live on the West Coast. And we had been working together for several years and my executive still couldn't remember that 8 a.m. their time is 5 a.m. my time. And would call me or text me when I was still sleeping. When they forget that I'm on PTO and my executive is texting me about work-related issues, and of course I'm not responding because I follow the work-life balance, and then I get a text asking how come I'm not responding. So I text back, did you forget that I'm on PTO? And this is after I put the PTO on their calendar, talked about where I was going, and when I was leaving for the day, I told my executive, okay, I'll see you next week, and still I get calls and texts. But the good thing here is, when I sent the response text, those text messages ended pretty quickly. This one drives me absolutely insane. It's when I'm just getting to the office and literally putting in the key to open up my office door. And my executive says, good morning, did you see the emails I sent you? And I would love to say, do you not see that I'm just getting here? As I'm holding my laptop bag, my lunch bag, and my purse, but I just smile and say, give me a few minutes to fire up my laptop. My executives are in back-to-back meetings and the only way that we communicate is by text, by email, or by Teams chat. But when I have something that's pressing because I have people waiting to move forward based on my executive's direction and I've sent my executive an email asking specific questions for them to answer and all I get is yes, thank you. And I'm like, yes to what? There were several questions that I needed to be answered. So I moved to the next level and pinged them on chat to let them know that I need specific answers. During the COVID lockdown and we were all sent home, of course all of our meetings became virtual. One day my executive sent me an email and asked me to reschedule his virtual meeting. I sat there and I laughed out loud to myself and I said, they're all virtual. So I made a joke out of it and responded. And I said, as much as I appreciate the confidence in my ability to read your mind, but with 40 to 50 virtual meetings, I'll need you to be a little more specific. He laughed. When my executive sends me an email asking me to set up a meeting with specific leaders but doesn't tell me what the discussion is about and doesn't attach any informational background, so I respond asking my executive what the discussion is regarding so I can move forward and push the meeting invite out. And I never hear back from my executive until the end of the day or the next day. And on top of it, they ask how come they haven't seen any acceptance responses for that meeting. I once had this executive who loved to talk through their weekend with me, first thing on Monday mornings for at least 30 minutes straight. And I sat and listened to what her and her family did, where they ate, stories about the kids, and all I was thinking about were how many emails were sitting in my inbox and how many people were waiting on me, and this was my every Monday ritual with this executive. I'm a very organized person and I like things to be in their place and I like my desk to be presentable. But I once had this executive that would throw paperwork and folders on my desk, so when I came in each morning, my desk looked like an absolute disaster. And what made it even worse is when other executives would come into our office first thing in the morning and they would see my desk like that. I could imagine what they must have thought. So what I ended up doing to try to control this executive's behavior is I made an inbox for all the paperwork and folders. And I put that inbox in their office. So if the executive was going to still continue to be disastrous, it would be in their own office. There is nothing more I dislike as to when my executive overpromises and throws my name out to other executives. That I can deliver on something without understanding what it all entails. My executive only sees the final product of my work, not everything that went into it. So when I have these leaders reaching out to me because my executive told them that I know how to make things happen, and sometimes I have to be the bearer of bad news, and that puts me in a situation to have to explain certain processes and how they work. And lastly, I have an executive who just can't remember my name, and this executive continuously calls me Sherry. I have corrected this executive so many times, and still to this day, my name is Sherry. And because this executive calls me the wrong name, I'm constantly being asked if my name is Sherry or Cherie because they've heard people call me different names. I'll tell you that these annoyances aren't deal breakers. They're just those everyday habits that our executives have that sometimes annoys us. So thanks everybody for watching today's video. If you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe. I'll see you soon. Take care.